This video is about the exclusive room of Omniheroes. So as you can see in this picture, each row represents the recommendations. So like in this row, the red one, it recommends 4 legendaries. So for these heroes, you want 4 legendaries. And then for heroes in this row, you want 2 epic and 2 legendary. You notice there's duplicated heroes. This will mean that they are it's fine to give them either like 4 legendaries or two split. And yeah, this is epic. And below them is is the repeat. So it's also 4 legendary, 2 epic, 2 legendaries, and but it's just that these are lower priorities. So the for the heroes in the bottom, but even if they are lower priorities, as long as they are in the list, they are pretty good. So, and for the heroes that are not in the list, they are less good. But okay, let's first talk about the strong and weak. So, heroes on the left are, in my opinion, stronger. Like their rooms are better than the heroes on the right. So it's like kind of like a comprehensive and subjective uh, like scaling. Like I can take consider into consideration like how impactful is their room, and as well as how good is a hero's for itself. So yeah, for example, Corolla. I put Corolla in here because her rooms is actually pretty good. So if you take a look, like it has a chance to double all the buff that all your units receive. But since Corolla herself is not very strong, so she's on the right. Yeah. So anyway, and yeah, so duplicated heroes, it means like any of these levels are fine. So yeah, and yeah, I was about to say this. So since the rooms has a lot of randomness in terms of how you acquire them. So for example, in this game mode, like as you sweep, there's a chance that you get full legendary exclusive rooms for your heroes. And even if like some heroes they are lower in priorities, like you haven't finished all the heroes in the high priorities, but the game just randomly decided to give you, for example, 3 Catherines exclusive, then it makes sense to spend your gold coin, yes, the coins in this shop. Yeah, let's say the game just randomly gave you 3 Catherine, then it 3 Catherine exclusive room, then it makes sense to just buy the last slot from the Celestial shop. Yeah, so it's really hard to give a definitive guide on this is how you should do step one, step two, because everyone is different, and it also depends on the playstyle. Like some players say, if they like, for me, if I see a room that is very useless, like Ashlyn, if I got any exclusive room for Ashlyn, then I will dismantle them immediately because it's really weak. But some other players they just really don't like dismantling rooms because if you dismantle the room, it only give you uh, like 1/4 of the is that 1/4 like one 25% of the rooms of the exclusive room coins that it will get. So like for for example, if I were to dismantle the the rooms for this one, it give me 25. But if I were to buy a room for that slot, it would cost 100. So some people really don't like dismantling room, and some people they just dismantle it if it's trash. So it's really hard to find a singular way to uh, show you how to play the game. And there are other people's guide too. For example, like there's this guide right here that's 30 days ago, and I think it's still relevant. Yeah, because 30 days ago it's still today. It's still this season. Oh no, it's pretty far away. Oh, it's updated. No, this is yeah. They are yeah. I think this one is pretty up to date. Yeah, although I don't fully agree with everything, but it's worth checking it out and see which one is best to fit you. Yeah, by the way, there's this guide list in the Discord channel, the official Discord channel of Omniheroes, and I haven't been posting my guides here, but other people have. And if you really find a guide that's really useful, make sure to like leave some emoji reactions here because uh because it will help them out. Like the Discord mod will reward them. Yeah. So cool. And yeah, back to my list. So I'm gonna briefly explain the heroes in the higher priorities. And first we have Eudora. So there are two ways you can play Eudora. One is you want to use her as your reliable main carry, and this way you want her red exclusive room because at red level, after taking action, if ally team's crit rate is greater than 200, she has 100% chance to cast Blazing Melody once, which is her ultimate, and that ultimate will deal launch 10 attacks, each dealing some damage to the enemy team, which is really good and it's not easily countered by Holy Shield and Monarch because it's multi-instance damage. So this means she's really powerful in PvP because like in PvP their enemy has Holy Shield and your multi-instance damage can counter them. So this way she will become your reliable carry in PvP. But if you don't plan to use her in PvP, like for example if you don't have her skin, then then you can also give her the epic room. That way it's a lot cheaper, but she only has 33% chance to casting Bleeding Melody once. This will make her in PvP less reliable, but in PvE stages, you can simply spam multiple times until she hits the 33% chance. So that's another way to do it. So yeah, this one I took inspiration from Azu's guide that I just showed you. Yeah, he mentioned it in one of his guide as well. And that's for Eudora. And I really like uh, Doris exclusive room because her exclusive room can allow you to like double the Doomsdayer synergy damage. So it's not the reflect damage, it's actually the damage from here. So it doesn't so like each time an enemy unit takes action, they take damage equal to ally team's reflect rate multiplied by ally team's attack and multiplied by 12%. So this damage will be doubled. Not only is the damage doubled, it's also it's all she's also doubling the instance. So let's say the enemies has one stack of Holy Shield, then the first instance of when they take action, they will first pop the Holy Shield, then they will also take damage. And the reason this is so impactful is because in the season content, there are a lot of ways to increase your team's reflect rate. So, like, even if you're not doing anything special in this artifact bonus, in one of the level, it actually increase all your heroes' reflect rate by 100%. Yeah, at level 38, and I assume everyone just achieved this by now. So this this is how you get the team just get one-shotted before they even take action, and that's all the Doomsayer synergy damage. And again, Doris can double this damage, so she's also really good. So and and you since this is mostly for PvP, you want it to be reliable. Like each time the enemy takes action, there's 100% chance that they take double instance. And yeah, so Doris is also in legendary tier. And and for Hades, so Hades is another interesting one, because if you have his legendary exclusive room, not only will he double the effect he gained from the Soul Devourer, that like Hades will, from his passive, he can Soul Devour an enemy every time he takes action, and and this, like after 4 rounds, the enemy will permanently dies, and Hades will keep all the stats. Like there's he need 4 rounds to like digest the enemy he devoured. But if you have his legendary exclusive room, he will reduce the duration to 2 rounds. And according to the videos shown by I've seen before, like, oh, I closed it. Never mind. So there's a video by Tabula Rasa that shows that if you have his legendary exclusive room, basically he can devour a unit every round, and that's really broken. Yeah, I'm accumulating all my red rooms for him. Yeah. So as you can see in this shop, I I'm like I want to get to 800 so I can get all of his legendary rooms, and this is a really powerful effect. And another one, for Empress Wu, is also the one I really like. I actually get hers first because I want to test if he's actually really good, and he is. So her effect is you don't care about the epic part because like it increased the chance of damage reduction trigger is increased to 100%, but it's only a damage reduction, like it's reducing damage by 75%. It sounds like a lot, but like in a lot of PvP and PvE, the enemies just do so much damage that reducing it by 75%, you will still die. So this one actually doesn't matter as much. It's still pretty good, but what really matter is the ones in that's two epic, two legendary, or the four legendary ones. Because when Wu takes action, there's the chance to apply 50% chance at the maximum to apply phantom illusions on one random enemies for 2 rounds. So why is this so important? Because when she applies phantom illusion, there's a special effect that the it will confuse and it will charm an enemies to your team, and the charmed enemy will also take damage for your team. So that's basically this protect things that they're explaining here. So it's a little confusing, the wording, but what it means is that whenever Wu Zetian charm an enemies, the enemies will take damage for your whole team, and that's really good. So she can already charm enemy when she casts her ultimate, but we want it to be more frequent, and ideally it happens on round one. So that's why we want her exclusive room. So this one at 2-2 split, like the level 2 with 2 legendary, 2 epic, it has 35% chance, which is pretty high already. So you can get away with staying at 2-2, but at maximum level legendary, the 50% chance is also really good. So you can, so both is fine. And then, yeah, that's her. So we can move on to Dalia. So I really like, uh, no, for Dalia, I don't think her exclusive room is that strong because it's actually a weaker version of Corolla's room because it only doubles the buff that is applied to herself, Dalia herself. And for Corolla, it's your whole team. So Corolla's exclusive room is actually better than Dalia's. Yeah. So if you go to Corolla, you see that her exclusive room is applied to your whole team. Yeah, when any ally receive a buff, there's a 100% chance to double the buff stacks. So yeah, so Corolla's room is actually better, but the thing is, Dalia herself is really good. So making a good heroes better is better than making a weak heroes a lot stronger. So making a good hero a little bit better is more useful because you already using Dalia. And since the passive, the exclusive room effect is increasing pretty linearly, so you can get away with either epic or legendary or in between. It doesn't matter. And yeah, that's Dalia. And for Astrid, so in the legendary tier, in the highest priority, Astrid I think is the weakest. I'm hesitating between putting her in the lower priority, but she's still pretty good in early game at least. And in late game, you will have a lot of other rooms already, and it's still pretty good. And again, Astrid is a really strong hero, so making a strong hero better is better than giving it to a weaker hero. And her effect is increased attack of allies according to their speed, and at the maximum it's increasing 1.5 attack. And since your unit's speed are around like 100, and so this is basically increasing your unit speed by 150, your unit's attack by 150, so 150%. So it's still pretty good, but this 150% is it's gonna become less and less relevant in late game because in late game you can get percentage attack from elsewhere, like from season archive, like in here. In total, I get 252 just from synergy archive, and I can also get some more from like relic and stuff. Yeah, so I think her is the weakest among all the recommended ones, but yeah, she's still pretty good. Definitely, if you get her for free, just don't dismantle it. She's pretty good. Yeah. And for the epic level, I think Seraphina is pretty important because she basically allow your team to ignore shield. And yeah, after buff stack reaches 30, which is super easy. And like basically you don't need to do anything and it will reach 30, and your allies will gain ignore shield, which means that they will ignore shield. Yeah, but they won't ignore holy shield, so it's just normal shield like they gained from Twin and Katrina. So and and it's pretty useful because even if they don't have any specific unit that grants shield, like the royal faction synergy will just grant shield. So like it's useless. No, it's useful no matter what. And yeah, so that's Seraphina, and her legendary level rooms are not that useful because it just apply divide, and the divide is just each attack cause allies to take 20% of damage dealt, like which is not very impactful. But yeah, if you want, you can upgrade it, or if you just get it for free from the shard, and that's still pretty good. But I don't recommend getting them intentionally. But the epic level is really good. So then we have Navi. So for Navi and Dorabella, they are special because first, since they are non-D&D hero, their runes are gonna be pretty cheap. Second, like they will be useful in this game mode because in the Crystal Wood level, like they will require Valkyrie heroes, and both Navi and Dorabella they are Valkyries, so they will buff your teams in the Crystal Wood game mode. And on top of this, Navi is a warrior, so she can buff you in this game mode. Like for each deployed warrior hero, your allies will gain attack. And Dorabella is a mage, so she can also increase your team's attack if you give her exclusive room. Yeah, but uh, so they so essentially they have dual identity, and yeah, they have they are both Valkyrie and warrior and mage respectively, so they can help you in the Forgotten Land game mode. And this game mode is pretty important because as you progress, you will gain some passive income essentially, and that's good because like pushing through the Palace of Penrose is pretty cool, but eventually you will push to the final level and there's nothing to do, and it's it's only matter of whether you're doing it early or late. But if you push through this earlier, like you will gain more passive resources. Yeah. So that's why I recommend getting them, even though their effect doesn't seem that broken. Yeah. So for the lower priority one, I don't think I'm gonna go through all of them. But in the legendary ones, these two are really strong. Uh, like Karnak and Victoria. But the thing is, these heroes they are not that good without the exclusive room. But like, yeah. So it she will have 100% chance to apply bind to two random targets every round. Like, yeah, and the bind lasts for 2 rounds. And basically, eventually, she will just bind all enemies, and all enemies cannot move. And I also want to talk about Mulan because she's also another good example for a hero that's whose epic level exclusive room are really good, and in the legendary one they are not as good because her epic effect is the enchantment effect of martial dragon is increased by 100%. So this is increasing the stats increase from the martial dragon. And the second part is increasing her damage in follow-up attack. But follow-up attack, so this is basically like whenever your teams are doing follow-up attacks, Mulan will also do follow-up attacks. But this effect isn't that impactful because it's hard to trigger follow-up attack without building your team in a specific way. So yeah, basically the only the epic level is impactful. And yeah, this is also something I want to say. You notice that a lot of the heroes here are celestials. So there are way more celestial heroes than there are non-celestial heroes in this tier list. The reason is actually because for celestial heroes, like you want them to have the unique celestial rooms. And yeah, so if you have like 4 unique dodge, for example, so my Mulan haven't had them yet, but I can. So when now he has the effect that whenever your team triggers Purify, there's a 50% chance to apply Enfeeble on all enemies. So it's a typo. It says all allies, but it means on enemies. So like whenever your units purifies, which means removing debuff from your themselves, then it will also apply a super debuff that's preventing enemies from gaining buffs. So this is a pretty good effect because the buff they are preventing includes Holy Shield. So it can stop enemies from gaining Holy Shield, and that's the main like benefit from having 4 unique celestial room of the same time. All have to be for celestial dodge. If I change it to the survival room, I actually lose the effect. So yeah, so it has to be for celestial. And another thing is, it doesn't have to be the rooms for this hero. Like for Mulan, I haven't got her all of her exclusive room yet, but I just assemble like some rooms from the other heroes, and now she also has this one. Yeah, and this is the main things about another very important uh, ability of the exclusive room. And the other heroes, the unique room effect isn't as impactful as Celestial. Basically, only Celestial one is impactful. The others are not so much. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for this video then. Yeah. Like I said, this is just my opinion and it's not some definitive guide. And you can check out other people's guide to make up your mind. And it's like, again, it's also has something to do with your own playstyle. Like for me, I like if a hero isn't on this list, I'm probably dismantling their rooms. But for some other people, they don't like dismantling rooms, and yeah, it's just different playstyle. Maybe I will get punished. Like let's say they buff some heroes that are useless, and then I will be punished because I could have saved their rooms. But it allows me to get the useful heroes more earlier. Yeah, thank you for watching.